Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome Cowboys Beat back to the show.
What's going on, guys? Pleasure to be back on the show.
We're going through the dog days of summer, but I'm glad to have you on because we can kind of rehash some big stories that have happened in the last few months.
I just think that the most surprising move of the offseason was Pickens' addition. I expected what they did in free agency. I thought they did okay. I thought they did very good in the draft, but I mean, you know, a lot of the picks that they made, it didn't really surprise me because they have a tendency to draft offensive line and defensive end in the first 2 rounds. But it was the Pickens move to me that I really said, like, whoa, this kind of feels like a team that's trying to go for it. 2 things I really can't get over is that they need to add a legitimate running back and they need to add another defensive tackle. This roster is just, it's not complete. I was a bigger fan of Rico Dowdle than I think most people out there because I understand the value of Rico Dowdle, and that's just a guy that, hey, when something's blocked up for 4 yards, he'll get you 5 yards. If it's blocked up for 7, he'll get you 8. I don't think you need to have Saquon Barkley to have some great running back. But if you have a running back that's consistently getting what's blocked for him and even a little more, that to me is valuable because I just don't know if you have a guy who can consistently do that on this football team. We think maybe Jadon Blue, but I'm not putting my stock in a 5th-round rookie. I'm just not doing it, especially one that had fumbling problems in college. I'm just not doing it.
I think a lot of it just, me carrying the ball low at times and not, having consistency with it. But, I mean, a lot of it is when it's in my left hand. That's why I have it in my left hand now. I tend to carry, I kind of carry the ball naturally low, so.
This running back room just isn't good enough, and there's no way anybody can spin this to me until they get out on the field and we start to see, an actual starting running back come out of this room.
All 3 of us, huge Rico Dowdle fans. We kind of get rose-colored glasses a little bit, but I completely agree with you when it comes to the defensive tackles.
There's people in the draft community that I know who are very, very high on Jay Toya. The Detroit Lions, they don't sit there and say, we're going to rely on a 7th-round pick rookie to be even a depth piece. They drafted Tyleik Williams this past year in the 1st round, even though they have Aleem McNeil, even though they have DJ Reader, because they understand the importance of that position. And I just look at the Cowboys and I say, look, you had opportunities to sign defensive tackles that you need, like a Poona Ford type of guy that went to the LA Rams. But I just look at this defensive tackle and I'm like, are we really going to start Mozzie Smith? Is that what we're doing here? Like, this is why I admire Howie Roseman so much, because he saw that Nolan Smith after year 1 was not producing for that football team. So what happened? He went out there and he signed Bryce Huff. Bryce Huff did not work out, but he was a guy that in previous years had good sack production. But you want to know what happened? Instead of Bryce Huff being that guy, Nolan Smith became a much better player. And that's my thing with Mozzie. That's why last year at this time, I was like, no, you need to address this defensive tackle position in a better way than just Linval Joseph. And, if it happens, then it happens. And that's great. And that's awesome. But relying on this guy to be a legitimate starting defensive tackle when he just has not shown to be that, I just think is a flawed way of thinking.
I believe in 3 years. You get 3 years. Banking on that is also kind of scary.
And I will say, I do think the linebacker room is going to be really solid this year. I think Leofau is going to take a step forward. I'm a big fan of Jack Sanborn. I think Kenneth Murray is, your 3rd linebacker. He's going to be the 4th linebacker when DeMarvion Overshown comes back. When it comes to run defense, it's easy to just point at Mozzie Smith and say, you need to play better. If your problem on your defense when it comes to playing the run is just one defensive tackle, well, then you have a really damn good run defense. If that's your only problem. It's more than that. It's the edges. It's the linebackers keeping in their run fits. It's the safeties coming downhill. It's the cornerbacks. It's everything. I don't see how they can be a good run defense. I don't think they have the edges for it. You hope Marshawn Nealon continues to develop. Chauncey Golston was a pretty damn good defensive end when it came to playing the run. DeMarcus Lawrence is no longer here. I think that the Cowboys have one of the best pass rushes in football. Like, I think top 5, maybe even in the top 3. If teams can run the ball on you, they're just not going to throw the ball, and the strength of your defense just goes away.
We've been doing the show since 2021. I'd say it's been the Cowboys' problem on defense since then. We never had to worry about turnovers. We never had to really worry about the defensive back end to show up. There was always that thing, if a team got the lead, they could really start chewing the clock and kind of dominating the line of scrimmage.
Everybody knows when you go into a game with the Cowboys, you run the football on them. I don't think that there are very many games that you can look at and say, Dak Prescott played average and they won.
Dak just made it.
Dak drops it, it's over though.
Dak just made it.
If Dak drops it, it's over. If Dak drops it, it's over though.
It's just not the case with Dak. Like, he has to play well or the Cowboys lose football games. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.